And welcome into this week's edition of the Railsplitter Athletic Support. I'll be your host. My name's Adam Haley, filling in for Rusty Poose, who has the day off. Big week in LMU athletics. Got a lot to talk about. The baseball team this past weekend had 5 games in 3 days, and they swept the series with Ohio Valley and with Tiffin University. LMU softball team this past weekend, they were on the road. They fall in doubleheader action to Limestone and another team that I can't remember right offhand from last Saturday. But we still got a lot to talk about. A lot of spring sports are in action. Tennis, men's lacrosse, they're off to a 2-0 start. Women's lacrosse off to a 1-1 start after their loss on Wednesday to Young Harris and Gatlinburg because of weather. Our guest tonight, men's and women's tennis coach Benny Collins and graduate assistant of the men's basketball team, Terrance Birdette. We'll talk about the great start the LMU men's basketball team, I guess you would say, has started and also starting to finish off this season. We've got all that and a lot more to talk about when we return with more Railsplitter Athletics Report.
It's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Subway of Harrigan and Middlesboro has your fresh interest at heart. On your way to work, try one of our mouth-watering breakfast sandwiches or flatbread omelets. If it's lunch or dinner you're after, choose from a wide selection of classic, select, or premium sandwiches that are all made specifically to order. Serving a crowd, Subway also has sandwich planners, giant subs, box lunches, and even cookie platters. Be it dine in or carry out, you can eat healthy and eat fresh at Subway. 368 Catawba Avenue in Harrigan and on the corner of the Village Square Mall, Middlesboro. If you love your car or truck, let us help you keep it clean at Soapy J's. Soapy J's has unlimited wash plans to fit every budget. Try our $5 express wash or one of our 3 monthly wash plans. The Wheel Deal, the Soapy J, or the new Blast Wax. With our monthly wash plans, if you pay with credit card, all you do is pay for the present month and your card will be billed on the 1st of each month. Don't forget, Soapy J's has free vacuums with any wash. Soapy J's Express Car Wash, open 7 days a week. Let us help keep your car or truck clean at Soapy J's. Soapy J's on the Cumberland Gap Parkway, Middlesboro. Institutional case good or architectural woodwork. Nolan Products Incorporated of Knoxville has been serving East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, and Southeast Kentucky since 1958. From concept to finish, Nolan Products custom builds to the highest quality standards to meet your facility specifications while using only the finest materials available. Nolan Products has been serving and meeting the needs and requirements of general contractors and architects in East Tennessee and surrounding area for more than 55 years. Nolan Products Incorporated, 912 Forsyth Street Northeast, Knoxville.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletic Support. As promised, now sitting along with men's and women's tennis coach Benny Collins. And Benny, I'd ask how it's been so far, but knowing the weather not only today, but how it's been for the past, say, month and a half, we know how it's kind of going for your tennis team right now.
Well, Adam, the weather's been really tough on us. Last year was really tough. The kids get back right before they get back, the 1st of January, the weather's beautiful. They're down working on the indoor facility down there, and everything's going good. The guys, right before they get back, as soon as they get back, the weather goes, they say south, but it didn't go south, it went north. So we've been fighting the battle of the snowstorm of the winter of 2016 again, so it's just been a frustrating year for us as far as getting on-court time to practice. And, I look at some of my practice logs every week, and, we're averaging 4 to 6 hours a week on the court where we should be getting 16 to 18 hours of practice time. So it's tough on us.
Let's start and talk about the women's team. They've got off to a 4-2 start right now. Obviously, you've got a match with Catawba that's been postponed, or I guess delayed, if you will. You've had some other games that have been canceled or postponed, including UVA-Wise. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to happen right about today. Talk about your women's team and how they've started this season to the 6 matches they've completed.
Well, our women's team, we brought in some new personnel, and this new personnel were high caliber players, which really jump-started our program back again. The women's team is back in contention. We're, we lost 3-6 to Wingate, which is the perennial powerhouse in our conference. And, we had another player that almost won a match or could have won a match. That's 4 or 5. So we're knocking on the door with Wingate. So, the women's team has made a remarkable bounce back from the last couple of years. We were so injury-prone for 2 years. And we're playing so deep in the lineup, playing with players that normally don't play for the past 2 years. But now this year we're back.
Take a look at the roster before we went on the air, and it almost looks like for the women and kind of for the men as well, you don't really have a lot of seniors on the team.
No, we don't. We've got one senior We got actually 2 seniors on the women's team and 1 senior on the men's team. You know, we have 1 senior that hardly plays any at all. You know, she don't get any time. So we actually have 1 playing senior on the men's team, 1 playing senior on the women's team.
That has to work out well. I mean, again, still talking about the women, 4-2 right now. You're 0-1 conference, the Wingate game that you talked about. You still got the type of game to make up.
Right.
But setting in 4-2 with a team that I guess most people would say would be young has to give you a little bit of confidence, not only for this year but for the future.
Well, not only that, you know, we're setting pretty good this year, but we've already signed a very powerful player from Belgium for next year, and looking to sign. We've already got a verbal commitment from a top German girl that's in the top 300, and she can really play. Plus, we have a Canadian girl that's coming, and most likely a little young lady from Tennessee. So we're bringing in 4 new players next year for the women's team. So they're going to be to deal with next year. And as they, each year after that, as they progress and get more experience, they're going to be really tough.
Let's go to the men's squad. They're 1-4 on the season. They're struggling a little bit out of the gate. Talk
Sure.
about how they've done so far.
What happened with the men, you know, once you graduated 2 seniors, you broke up. We broke up basically 3 doubles teams. And so what we're trying to do is find the guys that can play together in doubles. Me and you may be really good in singles, but put us together in doubles, we can't beat the camera people there. So we've got to find 3 doubles teams and win 2 out of 3 doubles. And so we have 2 incoming freshmen, you know, and so they're thrown right in the mix of this, that's in getting serious playing time. So when you do that, you know, it puts them under the gun. They don't have the experience that they need. They're getting better every week, but, you know, they're still lacking that really key game match experience, you know. So we're trying to find the doubles. Once we find the doubles, we have a lot of talent on the team. They're very young. You know, we got 1 senior, and we got a junior, and the rest is sophomore and freshman. So we're very young on the men's team. And as time goes on and they get more experience, they're going to be a lot tougher.
Let's go inside the coaching hat a little bit. We could talk X's and O's and everything all day long. You're talking about how it's kind of difficult to build up a doubles team. Now, again, kind of going back to the conversation, I could be a good singles player. You could be a good singles player. How, as a coach, do you find the chemistry between a good doubles team? How do you find out who you're going to pair together?
What you got to do is you can play them in practice. That tells you a little bit, but you got to play them in matches under match conditions, you know, and so they either break down or they get it done during the match play. And when they find each other, you know, it's just, I don't know if it's personalities, it's style of play, but whatever it is, it's just some people can play well together and some can't, you know. So you can take Nadal and Federer and put them together. They can't beat the Bryan brothers in tennis, you know, one or Novak. You know, you put the best players together in the world, and they can't beat the Bryan brothers in doubles. So doubles is a different game. It's a total different game, and you just got to find 2 people that work well together in the doubles, you know, mix.
We're seeing some footage from some of the previous matches so far this spring. Of course, this is the LMU tennis complex that you currently are running with. That looks like a very pretty day for a tennis match that we've not seen in a little bit of a while.
Oh, yeah.
You've got that tennis complex. You've also got another one that is in the process of being built. It's the indoor tennis complex at the Harrogate City Park. How is that progress coming along?
Well, they've got all the beams up. They've got the roof they've got the roof up, and they've got these things that are called the parallels. The parallels are the things that go between the beams that the walls bolt on. So probably next week, if we get some decent weather, they are going to start bolting those walls on. And as soon as they bolt the walls on, they'll like going inside and doing the wiring. They'll have to put another cap of pavement on top of the pavement that's already inside. And then it's got to be warm enough to do that. And then when it's warm enough, they also will paint the surface down for the courts. And that's about it, other than finishing the 2 ends. What they've done an add-on on each end. So on these ends, you're going to have 120 feet by 25 feet wide. Basically, you're going to have a locker room in one bottom and a viewing area, two-story viewing area in the top, glassed-in viewing area, which is going to be super nice. The other end is going to be a weight room, and this is what I've been told now, a weight room in the bottom, and another viewing area and a lounge up in the top. So it's going to be probably the nicest indoor tennis complex in Division II in the United States. I don't know anybody's got anything any better than that.
Now, there's 12 institutions in the South Atlantic Conference. Is there any other of the other 12 or the other 11 that actually have an indoor tennis complex?
No one has one.
So you're building an advantage for Lincoln Memorial University.
Well, we're building something. When it's snowing here and they're practicing in South Carolina and North Carolina, we're going to be practicing. You know, missing practice and missing a home match shouldn't be a thing that'll ever happen here again, because we're going to have 60 indoor courts. And, you know, when these kids arrive in January next year, they're not going to walk out there and say, Coach, what are we going to do? We're going to try to go to Knoxville and practice for an hour, 2 hours indoors somewhere. We're going to go down in that complex and get it done every single day, and that's going to make a huge difference in these teams.
For recruiting purposes, including the indoor tennis complex, you essentially have 3 different tennis complexes that we've had with this university. You've got the
Correct.
one over behind the softball field that
Right.
I imagine you all still maybe practice on, but don't play on.
We don't use it very much at all.
Then you've got the newer one, which we've already seen the footage from. The lights was the big improvement there.
Oh, yes.
And now you're going to have the indoor tennis complex. It's almost like your recruiting bullets are getting bigger and bigger.
You know, I've recruited the girls this year. That indoor complex sways them in many ways, you know, because some of the emails you get, Coach, how will we train in the winter has always been a big factor. You know, and I just tell them the truth. You know, we had, you know, hopefully we get a good winter. We can go to Knoxville some, but realistically not a lot. Mm-hmm. So now when I show them this, that we're getting the 6 indoor courts, it really changes things. They see that they're going to get to train. They want to train. They know the secret to being able to win or be competitive is training daily, and you got to have that.
We just showed a picture a couple minutes ago. I think you all took it. We had the big snow. We all remember back in, I think it was end of January. You and your team went out, swept off the court, and it made for probably one of the prettiest pictures we've had in athletics so far. I've never seen it there. The main court lit up at nighttime with all the snow around it.
We went out and took the snowblower. We went down to maintenance and we got the snowblower and had everybody that didn't have class to come out, and we worked hard getting that court clean. And, you know, right after that, a few days later, it snowed again.
Yeah.
You know, so covered it up again. So that's been pretty much how frustrating it's been for us. We work to work to work, no matter what we do. And I'm sure all spring sports are suffering. You know, I know baseball, softball, they've got to have been having it tough too because, and everybody, you know, because of the weather. But one thing about us, if it barely rains, we can't practice if it's just barely drizzling. So it kills us with any moisture on the courts. And so it's just been a tough year as far as on-court practice time.
We talked about the Virginia Wise game has already been canceled. Now your team gets to hit the road. You're going to Newberry for Saturday. You've got a match with Queens over in Charlotte on Monday. What are some keys for your teams to get on the court first off, if the weather permits?
It's going to be nice. The weather's going to permit. The weather looks good for the Newberry and the Queens match. You know, both of them are really doing well in the conference right now. You know, Queen was one of the top teams. Newberry's one of the top teams. You know, we've got to get out there and get after them right off the get-go. You can't get behind in the doubles match and lose 2 of the doubles matches in either or, men's or women, expect to win that match. You've got to dig 2 of those doubles wins out. And when you do that, it sets you in the position to win the matches. So that's what we got to do, you know.
Women's, men's side, looking forward, is there a particular team on either one of those you're looking more forward to playing on Saturday and Monday?
Well, they're both tough, you know, and what I always do is don't look at any team beyond what you're playing. You know, you win the first point in the first match, win the first game, win the first set. You know, don't look at the other team. Forget about them. You know, play today. We live today. Play in today's world. If you get through that, then you go on.
Spoken like a true coach.
When you start looking ahead, you're going to get beat.
Good luck this weekend. Hopefully the weather permits for you, and pull back some W's.
There you go. We'd love to do that.
Hey, Coach Benny Collins, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some men's basketball here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
1982, Dixie Roofing Incorporated of La Follette has been the industry's leader in commercial roofing throughout Knoxville, Tennessee, and surrounding counties for more than 30 years. From medical facilities to office buildings and educational institutions, Dixie Roofing has the experience, expertise, equipment, and know-how to handle roofing needs of any commercial structure, big or small. Dixie Roofing is also on the web at www.dixieroofing.com. Dixie Roofing Incorporated.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Everywhere that we go, he makes people laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality.
He's the one who always takes me fishing.
I watch golf with him. And
I watch him cook, because when I grow up, I want to be a cook too.
We have the same faces like this.
Dad is the one, when you fall, that picks you up.
That unconditional sense of presence and reassurance is really what makes him my father.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. Now joined alongside by graduate assistant of the men's basketball team, Terrance Birdette, or as I was told to tell him and call him during the break, T-Bird. Let's start by looking back. I mean, we've got almost an entire regular season to talk about here, but we're not going to because we only got 10 minutes. Let's look back. This past Saturday, you took on the 6th-ranked team, the Queens Royals, the 6th-ranked in the nation. A lot of people around NCAA Division II was looking at that game. It was a benchmark game not only for top 6 teams, but also for the Southeast region. LMU goes out, they rise up to the occasion, and they really don't even make it much of a game.
Yeah, the guys came out early, and one thing that we wanted them to do is just kind of bring the effort and bring the energy, and that's one thing that they did. You can't knock what Queens has done up until this point, but one thing that we wanted to do is make a statement, and our guys did. And one thing that's been fortunate as well for us is for the big games we've had, they've seemed to have done so, and it's fun to watch and it's fun to be a part of.
20-0 after that game. You go to Anderson this past Wednesday night, and Anderson in the past has been a thorn in LMU's side. Now, since Jason Taylor has left and they've got the new coach there, there's obviously in a little bit of a rebuilding sense. Wednesday night, your team, LMU, I think struggles a little bit, maybe a little bit with Anderson, which I guess is about typical, but they still pull off the victory. Yeah,
early in the game I thought that Anderson controlled the pace. Going into the mid to late part of the first half, we probably went on a really substantial run that held it for us. Second half, they may have outscored us 42-41 or so, if I'm correct on that. But again, that's a team that has a young guy, Shaw, who's been playing phenomenal, almost averaging 20 a game at this point. And with guys like that get going in their home gym and get excited about playing again the best team that they're going to have in that gym that year in that season, it's going to be tough. Again, we expect every team's best effort. And our guys seem to handle that pretty well.
Beat Anderson. Now you're 21-0 in conference, which, again, has never been done. Should make mention, with the victory over Queens, they did clinch the regular season championship as you're looking at the SAC standings there. Queens loses again Wednesday night. They lose in overtime to Lenore-Ryan. So it makes a little bit of a separation, not really as noticeable in the South Atlantic Conference. It is in the regional rankings, which we'll get to in just a second. But you see there, the top 8 teams in the SAC, they're locked in. We'll talk about the conference tournament in just a second. I don't want to overlook Catawba. LMU's got Catawba this Saturday afternoon as a 4 p.m. start. What are we looking at? I mean, we, as in the media and fans and everything, we look ahead and we're thinking 22-0. We've already beat Catawba once. We're thinking 22-0. Never been done in South Atlantic Conference history. What's the team looking at for Catawba?
We're looking at doing what we need to do and prepare not only for this game, but prepare for what we want is to play in the tournament and win the national championship. And that's one goal that I think the guys have in mind. You don't overlook any opponent at any point, but this game should be just another time for us to work on us, and nothing to take away from Catawba. But as long as we play at the rate we've been playing and defend and get out and lock in. Mentally and physically, and again, get these shots up that we're comfortable taking. I think that, again, it'll be a good measure for the things we want to continue to do come postseason.
How do you keep the team focused? Again, 21-0. We know this upcoming Saturday, it's Senior Day, the big Relay for Life thing. I mean, it happens every Senior Day. There's a lot of activity, probably a lot more people in the arena than most games.
Right.
We know you're probably cutting down the nets afterwards because of the regular season championship. How do you keep them all focused on just the 40 minutes?
You just have to find a way. I think for most of the young guys themselves, they do get excited and accept that and let them and allow them to live in the moment, but not to linger in it. And 18 to 22, even I remember myself at that time, you don't really get lost in the outside games once the ball goes up. And these guys, once the tip has been drawn, I think that for us, it's really honing in on what we need out of those 40 minutes and reminding them of what's at stake for every game. Because once they lose sight of the big picture, I think that's where we would lose ourselves in the game. But again, they got to play and be loose, have fun, and enjoy it, and that's what they've done all year.
Looking past Catawba, which I know is very dangerous for a coach, but looking past Catawba, we already know in the quarterfinal round of the SAC tournament next Wednesday, we're going to host Tusculum. And me and you have talked for probably about a month and a half about which team we could potentially play or who we don't want to play or who we'd like to play, and I've said for a while it's going to be Tusculum. Do you think that's a good draw for LMU, or is there a different team you'd like to have there? I mean, Obviously, if you get through Catawba, the old adage is it's hard to beat the same team 3 times in the same season. And at that point, you've got 7 teams in the tournament with you that you're going to have to do it to.
Right.
So you think there would be a different matchup you'd like to see in first round or in the quarterfinal, or are you fine with Tusculum?
At this point, considering how well they played against us, you almost want to kind of put that doubt out of your mind in some ways. I think that a team like Tusculum, again, they came in and almost forced us to take shots early on. Played us a little bit better, I think, in ball screens going over a second time through. I don't doubt that their talent and their matchups have given us problems, but with them being a foe in that regards, I think that for us to really play at the highest level we need to, we have to get past those teams that may have our number in some ways, or may be just as talented, or just we don't match up as well. But we have to find something else that we can rely on, and that's for just again getting back to what we do. As long as the ball doesn't stick, as long as we find our shots. And you have your Luquans and your Jarrells who played tremendously well for us. Getting these guys in and making sure that they have what we need as far as relying on the shots and the selections and getting out in transition and playing. I don't see that Tusculum would be a team we want to play ideally, but again I think that they're just as competitive, if not giving us that advantage we need to remain humbled and hungry all at the same time.
The regional rankings came out for the second time on Wednesday. Again, LMU's at the top. Queens was number 2, followed by King and Wingate in the top 4. This is your first year with being with Lincoln Memorial, but I think you're more familiar probably with the Peach Belt than the South Atlantic Conference. Does it surprise you that the first Peach Belt team we see is the number 5 spot, and that being Columbus State?
Not necessarily. I think that for each season you kind of linger on what has happened in the past, and again they came and they prepared the right way to put themselves in that position. Throughout the season, I think more times you can, find that a team like Columbus State will not look as good in their matchup with us, but again, they're a talented bunch, and they have a group of guys that, for no credit you can remove from them, have done the right things this season. So, no, not surprised, but again, you just have to enjoy the good things about basketball in itself, and that's what the opportunities they give. And every night you got to prepare and be at your best, because you never know what team will bring at you.
I look at that poll and I kind of get a little scared, because in the top 8, there's already 4 conference teams, including us. So there's a chance, once you get to the conference tournament, of seeing another conference team in that regional tournament. And you're talking about playing the same team 4 times, or even King seeing them again. There's a lot of common opponents there LMU's already seen.
I think we actually would like to see King again. Considering earlier on in the season dropping that game to start the season, and again you kind of want to right your wrongs in some ways. And a team like King, again, very talented bunch, but seeing them again, I think would almost create a little bit more of a fire for our guys at this point.
All right, so let's get back. We got Catawba coming in here this Saturday. Again, what do we expect to see from the Indians when they come in here to the Tex Turner?
Again, at this point, you don't really expect much else, because they've seen our plays, seen our sets. We're pretty much as familiar with anyone else that we will be. Just guys just have to come out and play. And again, enjoy the moment, enjoy the time that they have here, and our seniors who are departing from us, and make sure that those guys know that this is their last chance to really let it be shown here, and to create history in itself. So as long as they just come out, enjoy themselves, play loose, play aggressive, and again just come ready to meet that challenge, I think we'll be excited and ready for Saturday's match.
All right, we got about a minute now before our next commercial break. It's your first year with the university. First year with the men's basketball program. Here they said 2 losses overall in the season, undefeated in the conference. What's the ride been like for you as a graduate assistant riding with Josh Schertz and his coaching staff?
One thing I told Coach Schertz early on, I was like, my head was spinning coming in, and just the details and the preparation that he puts into it, and a lot of things that just go behind the scenes you just don't, as a player, think about. You just kind of show up and you're just here and things are ready for you. But coming to the sidelines now, it's really unique to see the time on and off, from just preparing jerseys and food, meal prep, and getting the guys, things like texts from middle of the morning to the midday, just knowing that they're not only players, but we're family in all this, and making sure that they understand how, again, at no point should they ever hesitate from, the times that we put in from this, and understand that for me, the dedication of a guy like Schertz to maintain this type of precedent for so long, it's really impressive to be a part of. It's a great place to be, and I couldn't think of a better place to start.
All right, Terrance, we'll get ready. Saturday, Catawba comes in here. History could be made. We're talking about an undefeated South Atlantic Conference season at 22-0. That is Saturday, Tex Turner Arena, 4 o'clock for the men's tip. The women will tip off at 2 o'clock. LMU Sports Network coverage will start at 1:40 p.m. Terrance, thanks for being a part of Woods.
Awesome, thanks.
We're going to take another break. We'll come back with what's coming up this upcoming week and possibly talk about what else is going on Saturday when we return with the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
It's the Old Town Grill.
The Old Town Grill is a special place where you bring more than family, more than friends. Bring a hearty appetite, because at the Old Town Grill, you'll never walk away hungry. A delicious change from the ordinary. The perfect place to bring the entire family. The best food and plenty of it. Join the fun and treat your appetite to something special.
It's the OTG.
The OTG is the place to be.
Join the Vive broadband TV revolution. Vive gives you the freedom to choose with loads of new channels like Up TV, The Hub, The Blaze, and Cubo. Vive's Watch TV Everywhere feature gives you the freedom to watch participating channels just about anywhere, anytime, on any device. And Vive broadband speed gives you the freedom to power internet TV services like Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV, and Google Chromecast. Join the TV revolution at vivebroadband.com.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Welcome back. Very quickly, let's go back to Saturday. The women will be playing Catawba College also. When we take a look at the South Atlantic Conference standings, LMU and Catawba right now tied for the number 5 spot in the upcoming tournament. Obviously, the winner is going to be ahead of the loser at that point. If LMU wins, they're the 5. If LMU loses and Carson Newman wins, they'll be the 7. If LMU wins and Carson Newman loses, they'll be the 6. And if that makes sense, I think it did. We'll go over all of that Saturday during our pregame coverage starting at 1:40 p.m. That's not the only thing going on this week, and I'm going to have to look down for just a second. Also going on campus or around LMU athletics, the LMU baseball team has a 3-game set with Anderson and has been pushed to a doubleheader on Saturday, 1 game on Sunday. The LMU softball team, they're on the road in Spartanburg, South Carolina for the Mid-South Classic. They'll be taking on the likes of UNC Pembroke, Lander, Augusta, and Southern Indiana. As we've already talked with head coach Benny Collins, they're at Newberry and Queens this coming week. Men's lacrosse is at Queens on Saturday for a 2 p.m. And men's and women's golf, they start back Monday. They got a tournament on Monday and Tuesday. The men are in the Richard Rendelman Invitational. The women are in the Lady Pirate Invitational. And that's just Saturday through Tuesday. For everything that's going on in LMU athletics, whether it's the spring sports, basketball, whatever it is, www.lmurailsplitters.com. That's all the time we have. I'm Adam Haley. We'll see you next week with more Railsplitter Athletics Report.